Hello, and welcome to Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom, the podcast where we share unsolicited tips, tricks, and life lessons. I'm Rachel from 5 Minutes From Me.
And I'm Heather from Sea Life as a Muse Creations. Together, we're here to share our insight and experiences on a wide range of topics to help you navigate life's twists and turns.
Whether you're looking for advice on lifestyle, personal growth, or just a good laugh, we've got you covered.
So let's settle in and embark on this journey together.
Hey, and welcome to our very first episode of Friendship, Wellness, and Wisdom. I'm Rachel.
I'm Heather.
And together we're going to be talking about all kinds of stuff and cutting each other off and laughing out loud and just kind of, we will impart some wisdom and we're going to be stupid in between all of that in a really fun way. We'd love you to come join us.
And I wouldn't call it stupid. I would call it a bit of uncomfortable.
I have to get my I have to get my flow here.
Yes, we will work on our social awkwardness and get a flow there. So, on today's episode, we're going to be talking about self-care and what self-care means to each one of us and what self-care is and what self-care isn't to each one of us. So, Rachel, what do you think self-care is to you? What's your definition of self-care?
Okay, so as like a flat-out definition, to me, self-care is basically the act of caring for yourself. And I think that the word caring is really the important component here because I know a lot of people have a lot of different ideas about self-care. A lot of people think it's more of like a frivolous, like, oh, I'm going to the spa today kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And for me, it kind of like almost goes back to when you're a little kid and you're, hopefully you have someone who's teaching you to take care of yourself. Right. Learning to eat healthy, to get enough sleep, to learn, to get dressed. To like dress up and show up, right?
Right.
All these good, healthy things that you need to be able to like navigate life and to get through each day and being nurtured and fulfilled, like really just getting what you need out of life. Like, so I don't know how to take that back, but it's really the act of caring for yourself daily. Like it's an everyday occurrence.
And I think that's a great thing. It's for me, it's doing anything for yourself with love and compassion. So whatever you do for yourself, where you back it, where you lead with love, then that's self-care. And so I think it's important to think of self-care as we go through life, self-care changes. Your sleep. You should have a good sleep pattern. You should have a good, healthy eating pattern. You should have, your hygiene, right? Yeah, but the reality, for you and everybody else, yes, for everyone around you. But the reality for me for self-care is there are things that we do that we think we're doing good for ourselves, but we do it in a not healthy manner, dieting and things of that nature. And so if you are propelling yourself with love and compassion, those are self-care pieces in my definition of self-care.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. I really feel like the things that you desire in life, like your passions, your creativities, those things should not be set aside for what someone said, like, you have to do. Now, we do have basic needs that we all need met, right? We have to eat. We have to find ways to support ourselves financially. Like, so, and also like finances and money care is also a part of self-care. What you should not do though is deny yourself all those things that make you you, that make your life worth living and fun, like there needs to be time spent for those things as well. And I think for a lot of us, the most difficult thing is finding a way to incorporate all of that, you know, into our lives, because we really do get caught up in the shoulds. Like, I mean, so many of us, we should ourselves like all the time. Like, I should be doing this. I should be doing that. And if it's making you miserable, well, then maybe you should not be doing that.
Yes. Like, well, and the constant self-talk, right? I mean, we have this, you know, I tell everybody all the time, all my clients, I say, if you have somebody taking up space in your head, even you, you need to evict them. Because anything that you're self-talking that is not healthy, it completely negates the self-care piece, right? When you are looking in the mirror and you are talking down to yourself and you are doing the I should be doing this, I should be doing that, I should have eaten better, and beating yourself up for eating bad one day or eating bad one meal, or those kind of negate, right?
Absolutely.
That love and compassion for yourself. So I think that when we look at self-care, we first have to come back to the reason why you want to take care of yourself is because you love yourself and you have compassion for yourself. And so in doing that, even if it's a simple thing that you do every day, like brushing your teeth, being mindful on brushing your teeth and knowing that you're knowing that you're doing it because you love yourself and you want to take care of your teeth.
Right. Not just because it's not because it's just some habit or pattern that you're running.
Right.
And it's a good reminder, like just knowing, okay, well, I'm doing this because I care for myself. Like, this is going to help keep me healthy. This is going to, you know, keep me running like throughout the day in a good way. Like, I want my teeth. Like, I need my teeth for all these things. And because I love myself, like, I need good, healthy teeth so that I can chew my food.
Yes.
It's just like, some of it is so basic. But again, it's just remembering, like, this is a need that you're fulfilling for yourself, and you bring it to the forefront of your mind and feel like, hey, you know what? I'm doing this for me.
Right. And then to piggyback on that, right? You as a person may have some genetic whatever, right? You could take care of your teeth, you could do whatever, and then you can lose your teeth, right? Absolutely. Still having love and compassion for yourself, though things didn't physically turn out well, right? And taking care of whatever the next chapter of that looks like for you. Right. And I think we look at people as ourselves. You have to be this all-encompassing for it to be okay. And the fact of the matter is, self-care can be messy, right?
Absolutely.
And shadow work and yoga and all the things, working out and eating right. This stuff could be messy and it could bubble up some emotional stuff, but you have to know that when you're doing things with that drive of, I love myself and I love the people around me, and I'm propelling myself forward I'm showing up the best I can for myself and everybody else. That right there is the epitome for me, self-care.
No, that's great. And I honestly, and I'm going to like kind of jump in on this, but yes, it can be messy, and by all means it should be messy. There are aspects of ourselves, and as human beings, like, we are animals. So, and we have instincts, we have emotions, and we have all these things that we need to work through. So yeah, you know what? We should be having them and feeling them. And again, expressing ourselves in those ways are also a part of good self-care. If you're going to get angry, if you're going to be sad, if you're going, then finding a healthy way of dealing with that is a great part of self-care. So yes, I mean, is it a great idea to go into work and bawl your eyes out like in front? No, But if you're at home, like while doing yoga, like a lot of times that's a great, like during your meditation, that might bring up some emotions.
Heart openers.
Like,
Holy.
but just recognize them. And if you're going to cry, cry. And honestly, you're in yoga. If you're going to fart, like just let it out. Because it hurts when you don't. And no one likes it. Anyway.
That is not caring for yourself, holding that stuff in.
But like if yoga doesn't do that for you, you go for a run. Get your energy out that way. Like you're not really into exercise and you need like some sort of emotional release. Pick up pillows, like literally you take a pillow, you pick it up over your head, you throw it on the floor repeatedly. And that will literally just get it out of your body.
Yeah.
And you can do those, you know, you don't have to share those rituals with anyone. That can be like something for you, for your alone time, and that's how you deal with it. It's like just important that you recognize that you have this need. You don't need to feel bad about it. Like people get angry, people get sad, people get jealous, envious, all of those like emotions that we taught are like not good emotions to have. We all have them. And there are improper ways of dealing with those emotions. But it's not bad to have them, and it doesn't make you bad for feeling them. Like, you should express them in a safe and healthy way.
Right.
And then kind of, you know, you move on to, like, your more gratitude-based emotions. Because it's just going to help you deal with all the other people around you in your life.
True. Yes. Yeah. Well, and the other thing is forgiving yourself. I mean, don't hang on to that. I think the one thing that people do is when they feel that, you know, I was angry and I had an outburst or, you know, whatever. You want another person, like say a bad situation happened and you want another person to forgive you. You need to forgive yourself as well. You know, and you need to know that you're human. Other people are human and things will happen. You know, things get said and things happen. And the reality is you have to always come back to yourself and you have to treat yourself with kindness. And in treating yourself with kindness, it makes it easier to exude out kindness, right? So if you take that moment, like you just said, and, you know, throw the pillow on the floor and repeatedly, and then get that out of the way, right? Then you can show up as your best self and move on, not carrying the whatever emotion.
Yeah, this has been like this has really been a tough one for me because I have huge problems with this. I have in the past, and I'm learning to not do this so much now. I will replay things over and over again in my head, like, oh my God, I can't believe that I did that. Like that was so this, that, and then I'm constantly like reminding myself of all these things that I didn't like or ways that I don't want to feel. And that's not great. Like it's a little bit better to be like, okay, I'm angry. Let me deal with this anger. Let me literally just get it out. And sometimes you need to literally get that like kind of rage, like all of those like overwhelming feelings out of the way first. And then if you need to confront someone, if you have that blow up, like you recognize you're feeling that way, you allow yourself to have that blow up, then it's a little bit easier to go deal with other people without blowing up at them. Because sometimes, like, say I was fighting with one of my kids or my husband, and then I'm coming on here to do this with you. And then all of a sudden I'm angry and I'm this and I'm that, and I didn't deal with it at all. Now all of a sudden I'm on here and I'm crying and I'm yelling and I'm acting in a way that I didn't want to do. I'm not treating you how, you know, it has nothing to do with you, but you're getting the brunt of it. So it's like if I deal with my mess and then move on, then we can have a nice show. Yeah. So.
It's almost self-care too. I guess it's also holding yourself accountable, right? Sure. Yeah. Which honestly, until you just made that statement, I didn't really look at it like that, but it is a sense of accountability. Holding yourself accountable for how you show up, holding yourself accountable for how you take care of yourself, right? So a sense of accountability for your mind, body, spirit, right? And owning that in a way that you want to be seen or you want to present yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
I think of it like this. So when we do things that we don't like, or we have aspects that we don't like about ourselves,
right.
we don't have to not like ourselves because of them. We can look at each of these aspects and say, these are things that I don't really want to be doing. It doesn't make me feel good to do these things. So I can still like myself even though I've done this.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can find ways, well, maybe how do I want to do this differently, and what can I do? In what way can I do this so that I can feel good about it?
Yeah.
And that's really and with accountability comes that you can hold yourself accountable without being angry at yourself for the way that you did it, without having a negative twist on it. You could say, yeah, I did that. Do I like the way I did that? And you know what? Sometimes you might be like, yeah, you know what? I wasn't happy that the situation was like that and that I had to deal with it. But yeah, I'm good with the way that I dealt with it. The situation sucked, but I was good. Or you could go in and go, I dealt with that really terribly.
Right.
And some people are, oh, I was such a bad person because I did. No,
right.
You did something you didn't like. Notice that you did something you didn't like.
Right.
And come up with a whole bunch of other ways that next time you might be able to deal with that better.
Right.
And I feel like that's a great way to hold yourself accountable without beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's perfect. The other piece of it is also when you're holding yourself accountable, you are being mindful and aware of your actions and how you're treating yourself and others, and then you we could both say this, right, because of our ages, right? But the reality is, you wind up taking that moment and putting another piece in your toolbox to use for life. I say all the time that life doesn't get easier; we just get new tools to cope.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Right?
And I think when you're noticing all of that stuff, and as we go through life, we hold on to some things and we repeat some of the new patterns, and if we're lucky, as we have new experience, we learn from things, we learn better ways to deal with things, ways that we're more comfortable dealing with things, and stuff just keeps coming at you. And it's almost like, it's like that scene, the scene from The Matrix, and again, I might be aging myself, but you're just kind of moving out of the way as stuff is coming at you, and
right.
It's just it becomes more flow and ease to it, because life never stops coming at you. It's just
no,
how and you kind of bend and move with it,
right? Well, and you can't control others,
no,
right? And so to go back to the accountability for you and how you treat yourself and how you treat yourself with love and compassion, you have to be able to put your head down at night and sleep, right? And when you don't take care of yourself, when you don't eat right, I know when I eat certain foods, I don't sleep well because of bloating and things like that. I know this. Do I still eat those foods? Absolutely. Yeah. And then I lay in bed and I think, man, I know that's just getting me because I just am so uncomfortable. But then I'm accountable for that. I'm aware of what I did, and I'm still holding myself accountable, even though I ate it, right? Even though Absolutely. I drank it, even though whatever, or I didn't work out that day, I didn't do yoga that day, and my body's sore or whatever. Still knowing that you're holding yourself accountable for those moments. But not beating yourself up for those moments. Just holding yourself accountable. It's like...
Absolutely.
It's like your mindfulness practice, your meditation practice, and I know you meditate, I meditate. The fact of the matter is noting something and then just letting it go. Not hanging on to it and dwelling on it, right? I noted it, now we're moving on. We're good.
Yeah, no, it's like I ate this before bed, and now I'm going to be awake all night, and I can beat myself up and stay up even longer, or I can just, tomorrow decide... okay, I did that yesterday. I need a better night's sleep. I'm not going to do it again.
Right.
And that doesn't happen a lot of times. What most people will do is just be like, oh, I'm terrible at this. I always do the wrong thing. I always do this. And then you get stuck in those patterns. And it's really I think with some of these things is noticing the patterns that you run constantly, because that's all it is. That's not who you are.
Right.
It's a pattern you've gotten used to running. And
Right.
it's like, you can have good habits and you can have some not so good habits. And for you, it might work better for someone else, but this might not be a great pattern or a great habit for you. So when you recognize these things that you do, yes, it is a little difficult to break them, because it's easy to just kind of, our brains work that way. They're like, oh, this works for me, so I'm just going to do these things in this
Right.
order always. And then I don't actually have to work at all. Like, I just pattern everything like this and it just flows, which can be great when you're cultivating like all these healthy habits. But you're doing the same thing with the ones that they're not really good or bad. They're just patterns that you've gone through over and over again.
Right.
You can break them when you notice them and you stop and interrupt them more and more. It's easier to start to put in like those little changes so that
Right.
you don't kind of get stuck so much in those patterns.
But I also think, too, when you go through those patterns and you're not mindful,
Yeah.
right? Even good patterns, you want to
Right.
be
Oh,
you want to
absolutely.
be mindful of what you're doing. And I think that we are automatic pilot. Humans are automatic pilot all the time. How many times do you drive somewhere and you're like, how the hell did I get here?
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
you got caught in the music, or you got caught in just the scenery, or just got caught in your own head. And so we are very automatic pilot animals. And the reality is, once we stop putting the mindfulness behind it, then we have to bring ourselves back to that center and be like, okay, let's just pay attention to what we're doing a little bit.
Absolutely. I'm very guilty of doing this because I know, well, but a lot of people don't. So I have chronic pain, and I had chronic migraine for years, which luckily I've been able to kind of break myself out of through self-care. But I still get them from time to time, and I don't always know when I should stay home and in bed. Like, or there are days where I'm just on the brink, and instead of like missing another day of this, that, or the other thing, I will literally let myself run on automatic pilot. And I have really built in like certain things that I will do that I don't really have to think about. So like, I will drive the same way to work. I will do the same things at work. Like, I'll follow the same pattern because I'm so used to it that it happens automatically. And I found myself getting very anxious, like, because I was doing it so much to create that ease. Whenever I needed to break that pattern, it was causing like severe anxiety, and I was having trouble deviating from my pattern.
Right.
So what I'll do now is I will just all of a sudden one day, like, I'll just put like I'll go into Google Maps and I'll see what the fastest way home is, even if I don't need to be home faster for any reason. And I'll just take a different route home just so
Right.
that I can. Just to break the habit and the pattern. And I can go back to the easiest way whenever I need to because it's still there. But I'm like, I will like purposely interrupt my patterns when I know that I'm feeling good, when I know that I'm like dealing with things really well and I don't have any of that,
Right.
just to kind of break it, just to show myself, yeah, I can do this. Like, I can change things up and
Right.
still be, good and safe and happy and okay.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to let your mind know this is not going to
Yeah,
kill you. You're good.
That's it. And the more that I do that, the easier it gets. And it's like, well, this is not a big deal.
Right. Right. So, to circle back so we're not going too long, what is the one thing that you've kept in your toolbox from being a kid that you do as self-care today?
So I feel like more like mentally self-care is, and I learned to do this, and I literally let people know what's bothering me. When something's bothering me, whether like they need to know or not, I'm like, I put it out there. I'm like, I'm letting you know. They can deal with it however they want to,
Yeah.
but it's out there. There's no guessing. Like, and then I know that I said what I needed to say to like kind of rectify the situation or to work from that. But that's one thing I do. I'm like, hey, this is an issue for me. Like, just letting you know.
Cool. Awesome.
And what about you? What's the one thing you've done?
I don't know. I mean, other than hygiene, brushing your teeth, taking a shower,
exactly.
blah, 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 right?
Like, that's a given, yes. I've always done those things.
Yeah.
I thought that was obvious. I'm sorry.
But I think because of how I grew up, which you know and not other people know, but how I grew up, I think I had to really cultivate taking care of myself. Mentally and physically. And so I think that I don't really have, other than the hygiene stuff, I don't really have anything that I brought from my childhood into my adulthood, for good reason, right? Because as a child I was super unhealthy, I think mentally and spiritually. And so I had to cultivate, as I got older, I had to cultivate who I was and discover different things about me that or I had to acknowledge things about me that I had to, if it didn't serve me, I had to get rid of it and adopt things that served me better as a human, right? And in doing that, serve other people better. So I would say right now my biggest thing, and I did it somewhat when I was younger, but not to the extent I do it now. Yoga is my yoga is my staple. Yoga and meditation is my staple. It really is. When I'm doing yoga and meditation, I'm home, right?
That's awesome.
I'm just within, and and so I think that's my best self-care for me and everybody around me.
Like, listening to you say that, and as I like kind of go through, like, I definitely, like, I voice my opinions, but like just straight up self-care, like ways, like things that make me feel good that I've done from the time that I was a kid until now is, and I sing, so I will like crank the radio up, and I just like, I put, like, I'm on stage and I just belt it out. Like, I don't even care where I am. Sometimes I forget. Like, I'll do it at home. I do it in the car.
Yes.
I do it at work. Like, and
That's
awesome. Luckily, like, I'm in a big open environment, so, and everyone's used to it at that point, so it's not so, like, it's loud and echoey. I work, like, I will just, and it keeps me, like, regular, like, it just kind of keeps me centered and grounded, and, like, I sang to the kids when they were little to calm them down. I will, like, when I need quiet, sometimes I'll just hum softly to myself.
Yeah.
But, like, really thinking about it, like, full on, like, feeling good, like, what feels like home. It's singing. It's music.
Nice. And honestly, I could piggyback on that. Music is another one for me as well. My dad being a musician, your dad being a musician, we were blessed as kids to be around some music, amazing music. I could do a whole show on that.
Yeah, I think we probably could.
But the reality is, when I do yoga or meditation, I do it with music as well.
Yeah,
so, music brings me home as well. So centers me. So we're going to wrap up this episode, because we could probably go on forever, because we could. We are lifelong friends, and we could just talk each other's ear off. Thank goodness.
It's yay. Also great self-care. So
yes. So until next episode, we want to say thank you for listening. We appreciate each and every one of you.
And just come join us next time, where we talk more about the things that we love, the things that drive us crazy, and just life in general. So,
the things that get us through life, good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah, absolutely. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes. we got a lot of that. All right. Till next time.
Peace out, guys. Friendship, wellness, and wisdom, because sometimes the best advice comes when you least expect it.